Inflation has hit everyone across the country. As consumers, we see prices going up all the time, but so do business owners.
Well, tonight, the owner of an East Tennessee tree service company says his business has been hit especially hard.
He called 6 on Your Side consumer reporter Don Dare to explain just how much more he's paying this year compared to a few years ago. Don.
Well, Bo, he told us his costs have tripled since early 2020. Fresh wood chips are often used for mulching around trees, shrubs, and perennials. The chips absorb and retain moisture. There are tree care companies whose business primarily consists of turning limbs and wood debris into chips. Once done, they drop off the chips and pay a fee to a specialized company that sells it as mulch. But recently, dropping off truckloads of chips has become a lot more expensive.
The crew for Perfect Grounds Tree Service was busy one day last week cleaning up some downed trees in Brush and Farragut. Brian Robinson is the owner-operator of Perfect Grounds. His business does upkeep around the water towers for the First Utility District. Some trees came down recently at one of the water tanks, and Brian's workmen cut the limbs and underbrush into smaller pieces. The limbs were then put into a wood chipper, where the raw brush and limbs will eventually be turned into mulch or wood chips that will be used to landscape yards. But Perfect Grounds doesn't deliver the chips to landscapers. Instead, Brian drops off the chips and pays a fee to a company called Living Earth. There are 3 facilities in Knoxville. The Texas-owned business is one of the largest recyclers of tree limbs, brush, leaves, and grass clippings. Businesses like Perfect Grounds and others provide the raw materials, the chips for mulch used in landscaping. But Brian's business pays by the ton as it drops off the wood chips. But Perfect Grounds only delivers the chips to Living Earth and not whole brush. Thus, the wood chips eliminate an extra step in the recycling process. In 2020, what did you pay then to take a ton of chips to this facility?
$17 a ton for chips. Brush was $33.
What has happened to the prices just recently, this year?
Like everything else, everything's getting more expensive. And the most recent thing has been that they have gotten rid of the difference between brush and chips. They now charge you full price for chips and have had yet another increase. We are currently at $55 a ton for chips.
And in 2020, it was 17?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, 17. Quite an increase, ain't it?
As his costs rise, Perfect Grounds is forced to pass them on to customers. But he wonders, how much of an increase can he absorb?
Where we used to be able to stay competitive, now I worry about whether or not we're going to be able to.
You have a lot of workers here.
A lot of mouths to feed. They have families, wives, children. And that's just the ones that you see in the foreground. We have the ladies in the office and all the families that go along with that as well. They definitely have the good end of the business. They're getting paid for it to come in and getting paid for it to leave. So I'd like to see an explanation why all of a sudden do we not get a discount for bringing in chips that they can just turn directly into mulch. It's not like it has to go through a huge process like raw brush does.
We sought an explanation for Brian from Living Earth. The Texas company writes, "We base our prices on the cost of doing business, which fluctuates with the economy." Living Earth says, "The manufacturing industry has been especially hard hit by a dramatic increase in the cost of fuel, trucks, and licensed operators over the past years. Regardless, we are aiming to provide the best possible services, and customer satisfaction is a top priority."
I'm not going to just lay down and watch what I've worked hard to have go away. I've been really blessed, and I've got a lot of really good men, and I want to watch them continue to grow and flourish as well.
Now, Brian Robinson says as a small businessman, and he's been at it for 30 years, he's never seen prices soar as they have in the last 24 to 30 months, just to drop off wood chips. Ironically, wood chip industry websites report there is a high demand for wood chips, yet a tight supply nationwide. And many operators of tree care companies like Brian's, according to reports, share their concerns about a lack of disposal options for wood chips and other debris. Yes, we're all hit by inflation, even businesses who cut up brush and small trees in your yard when they come down. They do a service for us, Bo.
Yeah, they really do. But those figures, 17 to 55,
Yeah.
just a few years, my goodness. If you have a consumer question for Don, send him an email at ddare@wat.com. You can also call a 6 on Your Side hotline number, 865-633-5974.